Okay, question 10, part B. Draw and annotate a diagram to represent the process of farming. And there's been one of these sort of drawing diagrams on each of the previous papers from last year. There was 3. So stands to reason that it's logical that there would be one, but they might not. But anyway, on the paper for this summer, that's 2024. So let's have a look. So the strategy for this would be, don't start drawing it, write down the steps as if you were answering this question. You had to write it out. So the process of farming. So the first thing that would need to happen is somebody would need to be tricked into downloading some farming malware. So let's say trick user into downloading farming malware. So that's step 1. Step 2, once the farming malware is on the user's computer, they will type in a legitimate web address or URL, and then that's going to be hijacked by the farming malware. So user types legitimate, or types in a correct web address. You could put URL. User types in legitimate web address into browser. 3, the farming malware redirects or hijacks this the web address and takes you to the criminal's website that they've created. I'm going to put EG bank as well. I'm going to give an example, and then farming malware redirects to criminal's website, and the criminal's website will look almost exactly like the legitimate website of the bank, for example HSBC or Lloyd's, whatever bank you wish to choose. And then the last bit is the next part of the crime. So user types in personal details which are stolen. So let's try and put that in some sort of block diagram. So first of all, we have the farming malware, pop that in a box, and the user has to be tricked into downloading it. So let's just add, it's important to add a bit more annotation. So look at what you've written and make sure everything that you've written is represented here. So I've got the farming malware and arrow going to use computer, and I just need to say user tricked into downloading malware. I mean, we're pretty much writing out everything we've written. So anyway, let's just carry on. Right, so that's, and I would say number these as well. So that's step 1. Step 2 is we've got the user typing in a legitimate address. So user types legitimate web address in browser. So that's going for so for EG bank website, and you could name the bank there. So that's going towards that. However, step 3 is the farming malware hijacks or redirects. So let's say farming malware redirects the web address to the criminal's website. So we don't need to worry about how that happens because we're just describing the process. We're describing the main steps. So we can represent that by drawing an arrow up here. So it was going towards the bank's website. So it's criminals fake bank website. And then we can have our step 4, which is personal details stolen. I could say the user types in their personal details which are stolen. Let's just have a quick look at the mark scheme, if we can see it. So we've got to show each of these 4 bullet points, and my thing is with these diagrams is the person that would have drawn the example answer, that would have been refined and refined and refined, and it's not really a natural way that you may draw it yourself. So I'm trying to sort of give you a process that you can use, and it doesn't really matter what your drawing looks like as long as it shows the steps and the stages, and it's got some kind of flow to it. You can see the arrows show, you know, we have to start with the farming malware and then we end up with the personal details stolen. But anyway, so we've got user is tricked into, the first is tricked into downloading the farming malware. So we've got that, we've got those first 2 steps there. So they're tricked into downloading it. So they have to be tricked, they have to click or open a link. So we would have those 2 marks. We've got user enters a web address into the browser, and then we've also talked about it being redirected, and we've also said a little bit more. We talked about the criminal's fake website, which they've got, but we've also mentioned about the personal details being stolen, which isn't in the question, so we should be given credit for that. So we've comfortably got the 4 marks for that one. Okay, and you've also got a strategy starting with writing out the steps in some sort of logical order and then draw those as a diagram. Don't try and start drawing the diagram first. Okay, thank you very much. We'll stop this one and then on to the last part.